Ewan Burns, you're taking time out of your day to join me again to talk about the latest Serie A Femminile action. It's another good weekend. It was almost a much better weekend because Juve very nearly dropped points, and nothing against Juventus. That would have been incredible for the title race, and seeing Sassuolo as outright leaders would have been quite interesting. But the results from, I didn't let you say hello again, did I? Hi, Ewan. How are you?
Hello, everyone. I'm okay.
Actually, I've just realized. So if you're watching on YouTube, this will mean nothing to you. But for those of you listening to the regular FAF pod, I said earlier in the podcast that you were sick, I believe. So now people are going to think that you've
He's a liar.
But you were unwell last night, and this morning you're feeling better, right?
Yeah, one early night can nip these things in the bud. So
there we go. We were a little bit worried about you when we heard you were unwell, given what's going on in the world and given what happened in your life quite recently as well with COVID cases. So it's good that you're back on your feet. Anyway, let's talk about the football, shall we? So Fiorentina beat Sampdoria 4-2. Empoli beat Hellas Verona 3-1. Roma almost held Juventus. They went 1-0 up against Juve. They lost 2-1 in the end. Milan beat Napoli 1-0 despite having just 10 men. Sassuolo beat Lazio 3-0. Of course they did. And the big surprise of the round came with Pomigliano getting their first ever Serie A win, beating Inter 2-0. So we've got to start with the biggest game of the weekend, though, which was Roma-Juve. I know Roma were the last domestic team to beat Juventus, beating them in the Coppa Italia semi-final last season before going on to win it. But this was a sign to the rest of the top half of Serie A that Juventus aren't this unstoppable machine, despite the fact that they won. There were signs there that maybe teams can stop them from winning every single game this season.
Yeah, there was a bit of a blueprint and some hope laid out by Roma, but ultimately they did still win, as they always do. But like I say, it suggested that somebody will probably beat them this season, or at least stop them from winning every single game, because Roma had more chances than just the goal that they scored, and it did take a very, very late goal as well for Juve to finally get the points. Interestingly, just before they got the winning goal, it was Bonfantini who very nearly scored, which would have been, I was going to say funny, but that's cruel. It wouldn't be funny. It'd just be interesting.
Yeah, and that break as well, the ball just dropped out of the sky, and the way she turned, catching the ball as it fell and skinning the defender like that, you just saw the pitch open up in front of her, and she was charging, and you just thought, oh no, she can't.
It's going to be a fight.
Yeah, because the Roma fans were already unhappy that she was let leave to Juve for nothing over the summer, so that wouldn't have gone well. They did score from the resulting corner with Staskova getting the header, and it was a disappointing way to concede, right? She just kind of lost her marker at the near post and was able to head in. But
yeah, she had 2 or 3 players around her that somehow very quickly didn't.
Yeah, Juventus, though, they just find ways. They just find ways to keep on winning, and they are now still joint at the top with maximum points, 15 from 15. With Sassuolo, of course, who beat Lazio. Again, 3-0, comprehensive. The statistics, though. Lazio had 0 shots. Sassuolo had 33. I think Lazio will be pleased to have returned to the capital with just a 3-0 defeat from this one.
Yeah, what was odd about this, we kind of said before the game that this could be a bit of a nasty one for Lazio, but they were only 1-0 down until it was into the final 10 minutes, coming to the exact minute, and then obviously Sassuolo got 2 more very quickly, and they'd had so many chances before that you almost felt like if they had added another 20 minutes onto that game, it could have got quite high up in the single figures at least. Because they suddenly, as is often the way with that sort of game, the floodgates did open. There just happened to not be that much time left as well to score as many goals as they were definitely capable of. But I think Cleland hit the woodwork at one point, among other chances. Cantore was involved the whole time. Can't remember who it was, but the player who scored the 3rd goal.
It was Cantore. Cantore got the 3rd.
Oh, sorry, the second one, then the header at the back post. She had a really nice effort in the first half, that was saved. A volley at the back, sort of, what do you call it, back corner of the box.
Yeah.
That was like really nicely placed, and that would have been a really, really good goal. But yeah, that Lazio almost got away with not taking a hiding there.
It was Dongus who got the second goal and had that effort. And she was quite impressive in an attacking sense when I saw them play as well. She's quite an interesting player in that regard. But the way Sassuolo play lends to that. You know, the defenders do push forward at any given opportunity, and even when it's not really on, they try anyway. Milan beat Napoli 1-0, and this was closer than I definitely expected it to be. Eleonora Goldoni missed a penalty for the Partenopei, or not even the Partenopei because it's a different club, for Napoli in the first half, which is a shame, a real shame, because Milan then got themselves ahead, and then Valentina Giacinti remarkably missed a penalty of her own, which you wouldn't have expected. Milan did then get down to 10 men in the first half, but they held on and they were able to win 1-0 away. Not the scoreline they would have hoped for, but it's 3 points, and they needed that after losing to Sassuolo the previous week.
Yeah, it would have been, you'd think, pretty terminal for their title hopes if they were to drop points against a team who do seem to be much improved from last season, but it took until a good result on the final day last season to not get relegated. So they are a team that Milan should be beating very comfortably. So to sort of get away with the penalty and get away with the fact that they had a player sent off and miss their own penalty, I think they just need to take those points and forget all about that game.
For sure. In the other results, Empoli beat Verona 3-1, as I said. Samp lost 4-2 to Fiorentina. Samp have been fun, but they've just not been getting the results. It is strange to see them down there, particularly because that game that I went to, Sassuolo Samp, they were decent, and they gave Sassuolo some problems despite not deserving a point from the game, such as Sassuolo's brilliance this year. But Pomigliano beating Inter 2-0. Again, another one of those results that I don't think anybody saw coming. Maria Banusic scored, I believe, what was her first goal for Pomigliano and set them on the way to a 2-0 win. Big, quite an important one. And down at that end of the table, as we saw last season, every point and every win counts so much.
Yeah, they seem to be a level above Lazio. Obviously, the two teams who came up, they do seem to be significantly better. Maria Banusic seems to only score incredible goals. It was a really, really good goal again. She's like I say, I think that's the first one since she moved there. She didn't get too many for Roma last season, but she only gets really good ones. But that Inter result for them seems, that was a last year's Inter kind of result where they were one of the poorer teams in the division. Obviously, so far they played 3-1-3 before this one. Obviously, they're a game down now after that one against Roma got called off. But as we keep saying, one loss against a team that aren't at the top, and you just think, well, that's you done for title-wise. Whether they can squeeze in a Champions League spot, even that seems quite unlikely now because Sassuolo and Juve just look so definitively the two best teams now.
Yeah, there are some other interesting fixtures next week. Samp play Inter, but I think the most intriguing on Saturday is Lazio against Pomigliano, because Lazio have looked so far adrift of everybody else. And like you said, Pomigliano do look that bit better than them. It'll be interesting to see if the Biancoceleste can do anything at all there. Juve play Napoli in a game that I'm really worried for Napoli in that one, because Juventus are just a machine. They do what they do. Sunday kicks off with Milan hosting Roma. Potentially another banana skin for the Rossonere, but having lost to Sassuolo last week, they'll be desperate to not do that. Hellas Verona play Fiorentina, and Sassuolo host Empoli in a game that I'm hoping to get back to Sassuolo and have another race against the last train leaving, and try not to get stranded in the province of Modena somewhere, but we'll see. Ewan, thanks very much for your time, and I'm sure I'll speak to you again next week.
Yeah, thank you very much.